Hello and welcome to Transcending Ascension. I am Reverend Diana. I am now a metaphysical minister. You might remember this channel as Spirit Mom, where I was a life coach. I have since shut down my life coaching business a couple weeks ago. I closed the website. I closed it all. So some of you might have noticed that. I already informed my clients. Everybody's aware that the life coaching days are done. And it is time to start a new chapter as a metaphysical minister, here to teach you en masse the information that has been kept from you for a very, very long time. This is Christ-centered teaching, but not Christian. In fact, we are not fans of Christians here because Christians are dogmatic. We are not dogmatic here. We seek to enlighten the world and bring people the information that will heal them. So many people live in pain, and this is why I was a life coach for a while, because I wanted to bring people help. However, life coaching is limited and people don't want to do the work. They think that having a life coach will do the work for them, and it's just a lot of complaining, where we here, being me, the Reverend, seek to bring people enlightenment. Now, you can only enlighten with your own power within, so it doesn't make sense for me to try to empower people one-on-one. What I can do is I can bring you the information. I do plan to start back up a ministry counseling, but it's not going to be as hand-holding as life coaching was. Ministry is enlightening yourself with divine information so that you can be you. So for starters, I said we are Christ-centered, but not Christian. This means we will study all the things that Jesus brought us. The person you want to call Jesus, Yeshua, even if it's a bunch of people, it does not matter. The information that was in the New Testament and the missing information in the Gnostic texts are everything you need to enlighten. There is lots of vital information out there, though. A lot of that information is already on my channel. Such information as the Kabbalion and all the Hermetic teachings, the all is mind, all of this is still relevant. And we always want to be living our life knowing that our thoughts create everything. However, Christ had a specific way of teaching that was vital to bring us the information we need in this physical world. This physical world is more difficult than simply saying, oh, but the all is mind. Yes, the all is mind, but there's so many details that go into that. The esoteric knowledge that is available to us is endless, but it doesn't do us any good if we are not in balance. We have to be centered at all times if we want to be happy at all times. It requires us to live from a place of knowing the way things work, how the tides are going to flow, and how we can remain above them. Because are bad times going to happen? Yes. Are we going to be sad sometimes? Yes. But when we stay in balance, when we understand the rhythms of the universe, that is when we are now in control of our lives, and we are the masters we need that can lead us to salvation. Just because I'm not going by the title of life coach anymore does not mean I don't still want to help people. So feel free to ask me questions in the comments, and I will definitely address them. I'm also available on all other social media platforms where you can contact me for advice and assistance, or a topic you would like me to teach you about. The information available is endless, and I can't say that enough because it's true. But how do we begin to implement it? For starters, you have to meditate. Meditation is key every day, at least 15 to 20 minutes, and then you learn to harness the God spark within. The God spark in your heart. I've done a whole workshop that's available on this channel where you can learn specifically about the heart. It's a living piece of God inside you. They have tested it in actual science that it has its own energetic field. In this place, you discover in meditation, you could turn it on whenever you need, when you're out and about and a mood hits you, something frazzles you, something triggers you, you can pull yourself back to center. We are in an ascension right now. Today, the releasing of this video is the spring equinox. The powers that are happening right now, coming down, are huge. You don't want to miss them. This is why I focus not on so much teaching you the esoteric knowledge, which is fun to learn, and I've learned it myself. It's fascinating, but it is not how you properly timeline shift. It is not how you get yourself in alignment. Now, getting yourself in alignment is key to properly timeline shift. You want to always be going to your highest timeline. Whatever your highest timeline is, most people it's gonna look something like peace, love, living healthier, living longer. These are the things that are going to be explored and wanted inside of yourself. So that's what the timeline is that you're going to want. This is where the all is mind would come into play in a practical manner for you to utilize living in your life. You don't want to let bad thoughts cycle inside your head. You can never let that happen for any length of time, and any time it accidentally does happen, you want to quickly cancel and nullify that information from getting out there into your ether. We are all living in the ether, the Akashic records, the quantum field. We live inside it at all points in time. Meditation is where you sit in stillness. Now, why is that stillness important? I bet you've never heard this fact. The stillness of meditation is important because when you sit there still, you're with yourself. Your actual self, the soul, the divine God spark, does not move. It is sitting there in one place that is all of existence and never actually moving. So when we slow ourselves down to meditate, we can now access this actual God spark that is us, that is all of us, because we are all God. We are all that same divine particle. We are all God. And when we sit in that stillness, we access that Akashic records quantum field place that holds all the information throughout all time and all timelines as well. The multiverse, everything exists in there, but you are more likely to attach to and hone in on information that is relevant to your mind, because if you deep meditate for hours on end, you can forget you're human, transcend into nirvana, the void space, and forget who you are and come back with serious power. But the majority of the time, you're going to be meditating with your actual mind. Even if you still it as much as possible, it's still your mind. So it's going to find and attach and attune to information that is relevant for your life. This is why we always want to be taking the river of water that is us and directing it where we want to go, the timeline we want to experience. And don't listen to outside predictions of timelines. Even if they're correct, they're still pulling that from a stream of consciousness that is not physically real yet for you. In that moment, in any of those moments that has not physically happened, you can change it. If you are a serious master, you can even change the physical. However, most of us are just going to be able to change the timeline trajectory. So if you see something coming up, if you're hearing about things, for one, don't listen to mainstream news. They know this, and their entire job is to direct you to the timelines that they want. So don't give them that power. But also your channelers and stuff all over YouTube are spouting their own, a lot of it's Luciferian information that's also not necessarily to your better good. So think about, use your own discernment and find what is your better good. Like once upon a time, I used to think I wanted to be, everybody wants to be huge. Everybody wants to be so important. Everybody wants this and that, right? I wanted to be a writer. I was going to write novels. I did write one. It didn't do very well. That's okay. I don't care anymore, and I don't even know if I want to write another one. I have children, and that's what I love. And I want to help you because it helps me. Because if you're better, I'm better. Because we are all God. So if more of us know this and utilize it and live towards this manner, it's going to make it easier for the rest of us. So I'm here now in a very selfish stance, I want the world to be better, and I don't want you to be in pain, and I know how to heal pain. But I found in my life coaching that most of the people in pain don't want to listen. They want to cry and whine, and I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm going to be very blunt about I don't want to, whining is not going to solve anything. It's going to dirty up your own energy field, and it dirties up mine. So that's a main reason why life coaching is now closed. And if I start to one-on-one coach in metaphysical ministry standards, don't come to me whining. I'm not in the mood ever, because you're going to affect me negatively. It's not going to work. My entire point is to be Christ, but that I'm being realistic here. There's a reason why Jesus is such a big deal, because he's the only one, and I'm even meaning not Buddha, so he's the only one that completely embodied Christ consciousness. Even Buddha did not fully seem to get there, but it's hard to say because Buddha did not write anything down, and none of his disciples wrote anything down until about 200 years after he was already gone. So it was only word of mouth. So Buddha could have been a Christ. They call themselves Buddhas as in and then that's supposed to be the same as Christ. Some people try to put that together. However, I've deeply studied Buddhism. I practice a lot of Buddhism. I'm basically kind of a Buddhist. However, it's lacking focus, it's lacking clarity, and it's lacking... They actually are pro-discernment though in any proper Buddhist teaching, because they have a bunch of different variations. It's going to tell you discernment. Well, who had the ultimate guidance? If we were to follow someone, if we were to pick one person to follow, who's done the best job? Jesus had the biggest impact. And I'm not a fan of Christianity. They did dark things, especially the Catholics. I could go on for days about what they have done. And the fact that Catholic school is still paid for in atheist Canada should show you something right there, that the Vatican is still in control. So that needs to be taken back. And this is the kind of timelines I hope we start choosing. These are the things that I put out there on my Twitter, that I'm trying to create actual collective consciousness, to be a conscious creator. That's what the millennials are here for, is to be conscious creators, because we've been tricked under dark timelines to manifest darkness. We've been manifesting darkness for thousands of years. So let's start training our minds to manifest positivity. And we need to do that first by healing the self. But be your own life coach. Whine to yourself. Look in the mirror and go, my parents abused me. Yeah, that's awful. It really is. But guess what? Doesn't matter. You're not the higher ups. It's all vibration. It's all frequency. And yes, you will have angels that are there for you. Yes, you will have higher beings that you can turn to. Yes, you can still always ask me questions. But the whining comes with anger. The anger is your demons. You send your demons at me because I'm giving you solutions, and you're going, but you just don't understand. Yes, I do. I've been there myself. The whining and the crying and the shooting out darkness is your demons. You are going to be filled with negative entities if you haven't done a lot of healing work. But guess what? Because we are in physical reality, it requires polarity to exist, which means that you will always have darkness within you. It's always going to be a thing. You just have to learn to rise above and be stronger than the darkness. The two angels and demons on your shoulder are Lucifer and Satan. Neither of them's good. Christ consciousness is here. The whole spine is your Christ consciousness. The serum that goes up our spines once a month when the moon is in your astrological sign. These are vital things to start to learn and utilize, because Christ consciousness, the middle pillar, Kabbalah, it's in the middle. So please follow the middle. And neither side is ever going to be the right answer. You want the middle path. You want clarity. You don't want to whine. You don't want to cry. The pain of your past is just holding you back. The pain of your past is not your friend. Constantly reliving the pain of your past is just going to create it. It's just going to create more of it in the future. You have to acknowledge it when sad things come up. You have to have a cry about it. You have to feel the feelings, because a lot of the time, all of the time with trauma, it's emotionally stuck inside of us. Bioengineering is a way where we do things like yoga, that are the 5 Tibetan rites I love, and yoga, where we work through our body and let the trauma out of our body. These are the things you need to be doing if you have a lot of trauma. Talking about them will just get you into trouble. You have to acknowledge them when you feel the sadness. Cry. Crying is good for you. Your salty tears hold codes inside them. Try to lick them. I'm not joking. And the salt itself is purifying. Purifying. So you want to cry any way you can. Even if you watch a cheesy movie and it makes you cry, the purification off of the tears is going to be medicine for you. And like I said, literally ingest them. They roll into our mouth for a reason. It's a cosmic, we are handed lots of divinely cosmic things that naturally help us. And when you learn to recognize them, it does wonders. So that's one of the ways, because you want to be sad. And then you want to be doing somatic work to get your body moving and to get the trauma out. Now, yoga, of course, is key. The whole yogi philosophy, Ayurvedic medicine, is also the truth. Like, if you're looking for paths of truth, they are found with Christ. They are found in the Kabbalion. They are found in Hermetics. They are found in yoga, the whole yogi religion, Buddhism. It's all correct in variations. Like, the stories do start to splinter, and when you get into the stories, the variations, like, are Lucifer and Satan actually real? I don't know. Their energy is, though. Their energy signatures are real, and that means there would be beings that are embodying that energy level, just as Jesus embodied the Christ. Jesus Christ is not his last name. He is a Christ. Christ is the title we give to that energy, that middle pillar energy, the Christ energy. So we want to all be seeking to be Christs, because that is the middle path. That's going to be the path of balance, and that's what we are teaching here. I've already been teaching it, but I want to focus. So homework for this episode, now that I'm officially a minister, I am a Reverend Diana. Diana means divine. Reverend Divine. That's hilarious. In fact, fun fact, the church behind me, I live beside a church, fired their pastor because, he was creepy. And they're looking for a new one. And just, lol. I could do it. I don't think they are going to want to learn from me, though, because Christians can be extremely dogmatic. And they let me down so hard. I've never been a Christian. I was raised atheist, but I wanted to be a Christian. When I woke up to this stuff and I woke up to Christ, I really wanted to. They are a huge letdown on humanity. They are an ultimate fail, and they should be ashamed of themselves. They were handed a position to save humanity, and the teachings of Jesus are so powerful that they have done the world mostly good anyways. The Crusades and stuff might have happened anyways, because humans are bloodlusty, like insanely bloodlusty, and they were constantly murdering each other anyways. So they might have done it anyways. It just gave them the reason for doing it. So we can't really blame them for that, but I blame them for lots of stuff anyways. We don't want to be in blame, but they're still actively existing, so we need to be vigilant. This isn't just the past and the witch trials. The Vatican is still controlling things. Catholic schools I don't even mind if you want to keep Catholic schools and have some schools that teach people about Jesus. That's not a bad idea, especially the way public schools are going. But let in everybody. You have to be Catholic to get in. I tried. You have, like for my children, you have to be Catholic. That's not, hello, 2024, where they're trying to make everybody atheist, yet we still have publicly funded Catholic schools, but that's a different story. For today, read the Gospel of Thomas, because that's what I'm going to be talking about in the next video. I will link free resources to all the Gnostic texts. The Gnostic texts are the continuation of the Bible. They're not even part of the Gnostic religion, if you've heard of that. It can get all haywire-y and they have all kinds of different fanciful stories. But the Gnostic texts were written by the apostles, and one of them is said to be written actually by Jesus himself, which they didn't include any of that in the actual Bible. And there's historical proof that it is written by the apostles, so why wouldn't they include it? They didn't include it because it mentions things like reincarnation, that we are God, that we control the self, and yada yada. So we'll get into the Gospel of Thomas in the next video. So find it, read it, links in the description. I look forward to seeing you there. Thanks for tuning in to Transcending Ascension. See you next time. Bye.